Why is it so important for you to come out in support of this cause?
I mean, they save lives. There's not really anything more to say than that. You know, anyone that, if it was a family member of mine or a loved one of mine that was sick and they needed blood or they needed a transplant or they needed a bone marrow donor, I'd want them to be able to get that. So, you know, an organisation that is literally given scores of people an extended life, a longer life, more time with their loved ones, that is specifically aimed at our community as well and some of the challenges facing our community in that region. How could I not support?
One of the things that we're trying to do is encourage more people to consider organ donation and dispel some of the stigma around that. What do you think we can do as a community to move forward with this?
I think there's a lot of challenges. I think there's legitimate history of, how do I put this, distrust, you know, from our community in relation to the medical establishment and things of that nature. And so I think actually some of these projects will be easier to implement, ironically, when Ghana or Nigeria or Jamaica have a more thriving health sector and more economically prosperous, because it's difficult for people when you're in a country where there is a history of racial difference and tension. Having full trust that the establishment is going to deal with you a particular, and it's something we don't talk about really that much, that lots of people are like, I mean, I deal with them, you know, like there's a sort of suspicion of the medical establishment, and so I think that's part of it. I think part of it is that the majority, or at least a significant portion of the African Caribbean community in Britain is still quite working class, and so I think a lot of this is more, you know, as you become more prosperous, you have time to even think about giving blood and being an organ donor. So there's a whole load of kind of class and ethnic factors that are often not factored in when we have this discussion. It's just, black people don't give blood, black people don't give organs, and I don't think it's quite that simple either. So I mean, getting the messaging right, and you know, if you went to a poor community in the East End of Glasgow or in a rough part of Liverpool, you'd probably find there's not many more organ donors than there is in Tottenham. And so I think we also have to bear all of those different things in mind, and there's those of us who, you know, an event like this is really the black middle class, right? If you look at who's even here, people might come from Peckham, but this is not, the hood is not here. It's like, it's the black people, folk that made it. So even that tells you something about who we're reaching and who we're not reaching. So I think it's important to understand some of those dynamics, because if it comes across as you're just saying, black people don't give, black people need to give more, I think that is perhaps not the right messaging necessarily, and won't get more people to come forward.
Well, listen, you're someone who has an amazing platform. You're able to engage with many people. So for people who are watching, who perhaps haven't considered coming to an event like this or getting behind an organisation like ACLT, what, in a few words, would you say to them?
I mean, every little counts. You know, if it's even if you're a person who is very suspicious, then give money. If you ain't got blood or an organ to give because you're like, I don't trust that or whatever else, but for those who have, enable others to do so, you know, give money, give your time, you know, raise your awareness about some of those issues. Look at alternative health cures or whatever it is. It's just, this is the well-being of our community we're talking about. So it's just engage on some level is what I'd say. I'm not going to stand here and preach and say you must do this, you must do that. Just try and engage on some level if you can.
Great. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you. All right.